an unconference, the people that arrive who have an interest in the topic create the conference that day. So it isn't as prepared and as formal as conferences usually are, and as a result, the spontaneity yields a high level of creativity and a high level of fun.
I think the single most compelling thing about the unconference experience is serendipity. There's research on serendipitous learning, and what we find is that when people can be put in environments where they have the opportunity to bump up against each other, to bump up against new ideas, new techniques, new technologies, it leads over and over again to this wonderful experience of, oh my gosh, I didn't know I needed to learn that, or I can't believe we haven't talked before, or this is the perfect thing. I was just looking for something like this, and now here's someone presenting on it.
I was lucky enough to collaborate with one of my colleagues in the French department, Dana Lindemann, and we're working on a series of park songs that are each based on a park in Paris. And we found an augmented reality app that we used, and we're developing that into location of parks in Paris, and also adding the musical, historical component, and the research of the poetry. And the poet is still alive; he's 84, and so it was just very exciting. And we presented that work in the keynote presentation. It was very exciting to have people who were very supportive of that in one room.
I was able to do a presentation on visualizations, and visualizations draws from the field of digital humanities, and there's just a ton of resources in the digital humanities for people interested in technologically enhanced learning.
Last year's Unconference, I led a session on Google Apps, talked about some of the ways that I use the Google Docs, but also Google Drive to facilitate group and teamwork. I also led a session on using WordPress in order to facilitate community interaction, both in course settings and also in more academic community sessions, situations.
David Syring and I have been working on digital storytelling in our classes and in our own work for representing our research. And so we did a short piece on digital storytelling, and specifically on the daily creates that are part of DS-106 model of digital storytelling. So people were able to engage immediately and create short pieces that were multimedia, maybe related, put onto social media right away. There were immediate products in our session. And that's kind of the idea behind an unconference, is that you're creating something on the fly, spontaneously, with a high level of creativity that is immediately show and tellable.
One of the beautiful things about the Unconference is that you can just show up with your laptop and pull up a web page that you think is interesting, or a tool that you use, and you don't have to be prepared. It doesn't have to be formal. And what you'll often find is that it really leads to a richer experience, because you're leaving gaps in your presentation and in your material that other people get a chance to fill in and share what they know, and oftentimes they know as much as you, or even more in many cases. And I can guarantee you that if you attend the Unconference, you're going to have at least 3 or 4 or 5 experiences of true serendipity that will make you glad you attended.